Da, 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 da.
Wait, hold on. All right, so when you get started, hang on one second. I want to remind everyone to visit our sponsors. Mr. J Havana Smoke Shop and Ocean State Cigars, both the retail side and his very own cigar. That's right. The J Grotto series, you can find all the information about the J Grotto series line at oceanstatecigars.com. Also, the Havana Cigar Club right here in Warwick, Rhode Island, right down the street. You can eat, drink, smoke all in the same place. It's a fantastic club. They've got a membership program. You can get a $5 off coupon from our website if it's your first time going there. Make sure you do that. Support our sponsors. That's Ocean State Cigars and the Havana Club right here in Warwick, Rhode Island. Welcome back, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. Thanks, everyone, for staying with us, our live stream listeners, as we smoke this fantastic cigar. We just completed a fantastic interview with Jose Blanco.
Yeah.
I'm glad everyone is enjoying that. We've already gotten fantastic feedback from our listeners in the chat room. And I wanted to give an update on the cigar that we're smoking now.
Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth.
I kind of got a general feeling as to what everyone thinks. I'm going to start with Stogie Santa because he's jumping out of his seat excited
I'll
over there.
tell you what, Coop, I got to ask all three of you before I go any farther. Have you ever had a sweetness off a Corojo like this in your life?
Never. I know we talked about the Aurora, but nothing against the
No,
Aurora.
I know exactly. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Coop. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Nothing against the Aurora, but this thing took it to another level.
Is this thing taking it to another level? I mean, it is incredible. I mean, Corojo like this, and I think if you listen to that previous interview, it tells you what he does when you got to sit there and listen to the ages and what he does on this cigar. It's incredible. It just, I'm telling you, it is phenomenal.
I'm talking Oasis level already, and this is the first time I've had it.
I'm going to tell you something. I'll go with that.
There's not a lot of these out there, but I'll tell you what, guys.
Flavor, complexity, sweetness,
and the whole thing is to me, the whole thing in my mouth from front to back, it is incredible. Incredible, and the retrohale is.
And this is a big cigar, right?
Yeah. Right.
And literally, my mouth is not dry. It's
nothing.
It's not.
And know what I loved about it is I'll tell you what. I don't think the complexity level stands out for me the most. Is the freaking balance of the cigar is unbelievable. The spice, nothing outdoes anything.
Well,
it's all in harmony.
Well aged.
I'm not going to say, but this is I love it. I just love it. Oasis, I'm on board. Incredible. Whoever's listening, please do yourself a favor.
Try and find some.
Go get them.
They're not cheap, but they're worth it.
Like I'm saying, this is where money makes no difference.
Yeah,
incredible.
This is a special piece of work.
And I try not to feature cigars that are limited and expensive on the show.
Oh, well.
But I tell you what. Sorry. I tell you what. If you haven't smoked a limited and expensive cigar and you're looking for one that's not going to disappoint, you're not going to be disappointed in this one.
Look at this.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
I'm still going on mine. It's just.
Right here. I'll tell you. I understand what he says.
It's getting kind of small. But
yeah, but I'm telling you, I'll still go with my back nine, no matter what. Back nine of this is unbelievable. Oh my God!
Really unique flavor profile I get from this cigar too. It's not like Jose was saying, right? It's not like anything I've ever smoked, and that's what he sets as the bar for the cigars that he blends is to be unique. This is a very unique flavor profile,
right? And like I'm saying, I don't know if you guys agree with this. I would say, at best, medium on strength, but A+ on flavor.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh. And I'm telling you.
And I had a feeling these were going to be like that because they were released 2 years ago. They said the tobacco was from 2003. And I have to say, I was kind of skeptical. I was like, really? And no, it's like you said, balance. and smoothness and that sweetness. And that's what you get from aged tobacco. And again, to go back to what Jose was saying, the way it coats your palate with that smoke, that sweetness on the lip, it's got all that going for it. So.
And it was funny, if anyone, I should have asked them, but that it's subjective to everybody. How many times have you had a Dominican cigar that's ever been dry? Humidity or not? I just seem to disagree with that. But that's fine. I don't know. I don't even try.
Jose seemed to talk about the environmental factors.
But environmental factors has something to do with it.
But when you came back and asked him again, he said, no, that's not coming out.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he said once the dryness is there, it's there.
That's what I'm saying.
And that was very telling. Yeah,
right. And Honduran smoke, to me, my humble opinion, for what it's worth, has a dryness aspect to it. I agree wholeheartedly what he's saying about over humidification.
Yes.
And this is where
we're
going to move on from this. We had enough of this, but what I'm getting at is a dryness is an element of part of a cigar, and when it's in there, it is what it is. So okay, what we got next here?
I want Coop to go first with his cigars of the week.
Yeah, I got a list.
You got quite a list, my friend.
All right, so I'm going to say a real quick thing to folks online. I got a lot of kind emails and notes this week. I lost my aunt this week, who is she passed away at the age of 100 peacefully. She raised my mom, and she was my grandmother for all practical purposes. So I want to just thank everybody. A lot of the smokes I had this week, I actually drove up to New York to pay respects and back. So I got to smoke a lot of good things, and I think. If there's a positive, and it's hard to put a positive spin, I did get an opportunity to smoke a lot of interesting things this week.
Good way to look at it. God bless you. God bless you.
Yep. So I just want to thank everyone for the support on that. Let's kind of get into the smokes. I started off with the we've been talking about Viaje Satori the past few weeks. We smoked the Viaje Satori 2010 on the air. I started revisiting the 2013, actually visiting the 2013 this week. And for folks who don't know, the 2013 version of the Satori really is a return to the 2011 blend and sizes. So it's really a carbon copy of the 2011. The one thing is, it was missing something. And I don't know, this was not, and I've smoked a few of these, this just didn't do it for me in terms of some of the Satoris have always been very consistent for me in terms of delivering a really good smoking experience. It delivered a good one. It just didn't deliver a great one.
So, excuse me. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, what was the key element to you that was missing?
It seemed to lack the smoothness, and it seemed to have less complexity. It had a lot like the previous Satoris always had a great sweetness to it. Even in 2010, they used the Oscuro wrapper, and in 2011, they changed to the San Andreas. And I liked the 2011. But the 2013 was just missing something. It had less sweetness. It had less smoothness. It still had some of it always had blackberry flavors, the Satori. It was always something I picked up. I still picked up some of that, but it seemed to have a lot more tea notes this time. And the tea notes just seemed to, I don't know, it just seemed to knock it off kilt, so to speak. I did also have some burn issues with it. It required a lot more, to keep this burning straight. It was a lot more work. Overall, still a good cigar. I have it as a try one, but this is a cigar, normally I've had box worthy. And in fact, the original 2010 blend was my number 3 cigar of the year. The 2011 was in my top 15. So it seemed to lose a step.
Okay.
I just want to clarify for people, we're smoking the cigar of the show is the La Aurora Preferidos Gran Reserva 2003.
Okay.
Some people in the chat were asking. We didn't necessarily clarify that. It's hard because we say it multiple times.
Right.
It's a really long name.
Right.
But
exactly.
Yeah. Alrighty. I'll go next. I smoked a Gurkha Red Witch. I don't know where I got this cigar. It was likely a gift from Stogie Santa, who's raising his hand. I got a little blurb about it. It says it's carefully crafted in Nicaragua. It's a box pressed with Nicaraguan long fillers from Jalapa, a Dominican binder, and an Ecuadorian rosado wrapper. It's touted as an everyday smoke, and I have to say it was enjoyable. For a price point around $4.50, I found it to be smooth and have a nice sweetness. Like I liked smoking it as put it in the context of like an everyday smoke, right? Like this is something I would smoke on the golf course while fishing, something that you don't really have to think about, but it was very enjoyable, not complex. I thought for a bargain stick at $4.50, right? You give that to me. I say grab a 5-pack and when you're in the mood to have a cigar that you don't really have to pay attention to, it's got nice flavors. Me personally, I was pleasantly surprised with this offering from Kirka. I thought it was really good.
Okay.
Now, I'm comparing to some of the other stuff that I smoked, and I tell you what, some of the stuff I smoke doesn't even make it to the show. Right. You know what I mean? And I don't want to talk bad about anyone's cigar by any stretch of the imagination because there's a lot of work that goes into it. But this one for me was a solid $5. Okay. Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, just a comment. They actually made a modified blend also of the Red Witch called the Double Forte, which has I think it has just some extra Ligero in it.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, try that and compare and contrast it. I actually think the little bit of the extra Ligero in it made it, and I'm fully on board with what you said, Paul, with the Red Witch. It was not a bad cigar. I actually thought that Double Forte actually made it a little better, even.
Right.
I can see it benefiting from a little more strength.
Right.
Yeah.
I can see it being an asset. Absolutely.
I rated the Angler, but anyway.
Yeah, I kind of hinted that in my description too, right? I can see it being
but like you're saying, I don't like to use the word cheap because you made a great point.
Yeah.
Someone that spends the time to think what they're doing, putting the blend together, it's going to hit someone as a box worthy, and that's great.
Right.
But
I can see a lot of people because now these come in boxes of 50.
Right, that's correct.
And I can see people getting a lot of value out of that. You know what I mean? Mark Jr., over to you, man.
Okay. Hey, first of all, the prelude. I want to tell the listeners it's been a tough day for Mark.
Mark Jr. had a rough day. He had a rough day today.
For tonight, what we're going to call Mark is Crash because. Unfortunately,
hey guys, look at this.
And it has no doing of his own.
No one was injured.
No one was injured.
The car was injured.
And you know something? Give him so many kudos because he's taking it like a big guy that he is. If you could only see him in studio, this man is enormous. So first of all, I give him a lot of kudos, and go ahead. I had to throw that out there.
It was a rental, too, so at least it wasn't yours.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's a rental because okay, so you wanted to get into it?
It's a rental because your other car.
It's a rental because my friend hit it in my driveway with an unregistered car. So I had to take a claim on that. So now I'm going to take another claim on this, all because I decided to be a nice guy. Okay, so you know.
Okay, show the love.
Thanks for getting me fired up. By the way, I was doing pretty good.
That's why Stogies here. You know what I mean?
Stirring the pot.
All right, now you know the Bruins won, so I'm in good shape right now. Okay,
you're
lucky,
and you're smoking and you're drinking with your friends. So I mean, it can't be
all
bad.
As Jose said, there's no assholes here.
That's right.
Well, you're not usually an asshole.
You know what they say? They ruined the perfect asshole. They took the teeth out of my mouth. Let's go ahead.
All right. So I went back to a cigar for my first smoke that I used to smoke a lot, but I haven't smoked it probably in years at this point, really. It was an Oliva Serie V Torpedo, not the Maduro, just a regular Serie V Oliva 6x56 Torpedo, Nicaraguan sun-grown Habano. Binder and fillers Nicaraguan. They're about $7. This is the most expensive one that's like in their regular line.
Mark, I will have to say, it looks like you were at Mr. J. Havana Smoke Shop when you took this picture.
Yeah.
And you did a fantastic job taking this picture. You have to share with me a little secret about getting pictures in there.
Yeah, me too. Because
I can't get a picture like that.
It's actually an option in your iPhone that I just found out.
And
right?
what is that?
Oh, you'll have to share that, dude.
Yeah,
this picture came out great.
Sorry,
talk about
that. And it's like the last one that I took. So like, I wish I'd found this a while
I want
ago,
to see that option,
right?
please. Yeah. I agree with you 100%.
So that being said, I never really reach for these anymore, but I used to smoke these a ton, especially when I first got into smoking like full flavored cigars.
I used to smoke those gigantic ones. I don't know what they're called, but they're the largest size.
They're inexpensive. They're and they're good. To be honest with you, it had some coffee, some dark chocolate. Yep. I find it to be very full flavored, yet it has a smoothness to it that a lot of stuff that is that full flavor doesn't have. I rated it as a try one. But I'll tell you this: when I first started smoking these were like my go-to, right? So you might find these box worthy and something that you want to keep around all the time, and I comfortably say this is a cigar that every cigar smoker should try.
Okay.
So it's perfectly fitting of the try one to me.
Let's see. Will, back to you.
All right, so another Back to the Future theme I did. I smoked the Alec Bradley Fine and Rare, the 2013 edition. So it's technically being called the HJ10I second issue. So in other words, what they did with this, the HJ10I blend was the 2011 blend, and they brought it back for another run. Still in the 6x52 Toro. So this was kind of the cigar that started it all in terms of it uses the 10 different tobaccos, a Honduran Stogies farm wrapper, a double binder from Honduras and Nicaragua, and 7 unknown fillers. We started talking about Alec Bradley Fine and Rares a little last week, and that's just one reason why I wanted to smoke this. This just kind of started hitting the stores. To assess this one, I actually thought this one had some more complexity. I got more flavor nuances with the Fine and Rare 2013 than I did with the 2011. The flavors just seemed a little more blasé, though, is I guess the best way to put it.
Any less blasé than the previous ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely less blasé. I mean, I got some natural tobacco, pepper, a little bit of cinnamon, some baker's spice, a lot of earth. It burned well, it drew well, but it didn't have that wow factor. One thing we talked about is it seems like with the Fine and Rares, they did not have that aging potential.
Oh, you'll hit it right. Oh, dead on.
I talked about that last week.
Remember how we had that conversation? Oh, great call, Will. Great call.
I mean, well, we all were talking about that one. And so, I rated this a 5 with the caveat, smoke them now.
Yes,
yep,
absolutely.
Because I just think it's going to go the same route as those other ones. It was good. I still think the 11 and the 12 were better.
Yeah, the price point just takes it away. That's the downfall of that cigar. I really do with the performance. But whatever.
How fast are they moving, Stogie Santa? Because
they're not moving at all. They're just not. You can put 15 different tobaccos in there for all I care. It just, even when it's straight up, I just found it a cigar that I smoked the first one. I thought was good, and then after I did at least a dozen of those the previous years, and I'm just not a huge fan, to be honest with you. I angler, that's what I call it. Some people may find it a good smoke, but
2 years ago, these things were one of the most sought after cigars. I mean, people were going on a frenzy to get these things 2 years ago, and you couldn't find them.
I traded with someone for some of these.
Yeah, but I'm seeing a lot. I know they increased production, but I'm seeing still a lot more on the shelf than I would expect.
Well, they're finding it out to the Stogie Santa special this weekend, so come down. But anyway, something I did a couple of days ago was the Robert Wright, the Puro Soul. Nicaraguan Puro. I think it must be a lower priming. To be a Nicaraguan Puro, I found it a good cigar. It really was. It was, the complexity was good. I did the Robusto.
What factory are these coming out of now?
That's a Christian stable. He's
so this is the same company that does
CLE.
CLE.
Right. He worked with Christian some years ago.
Yeah, because the local rep, Lauren, handed me a couple of these samples
I'm telling you, I at this point, it's an angler to a 5.
This is a Pure de Sol, and the size she handed me was kind of like a
5x50.
No,
she gave me
the Toro. It was more like a Toro size, but it seemed like a smaller ring gauge.
I think what's going to happen if someone's when you think of Nicaraguan, what do you think of? A stronger, not in your face, but the earthiness is there. It was a good. It was a good cigar. It really was.
I haven't smoked them yet, so
I wanted to. I wanted to review that last week, but I had and again, speaking about Cooper, and I don't. Thank you for I had a lot of emails and that came in about. Yeah. I kind of dropped on the set, and I apologize, but I wanted to do that last week. I at least a minimum of an angler. I could see this up to a 5. I really do. It's a good. It's a price point. It's not bad at all. But
and that's a pure de sol from Aurora.
Aurora, and it's a Nicaraguan Puro. That's what they said.
And what's the price point on this one?
It's and again, I don't want to be repetitive because of our pricing or our tax base.
Yeah, and we're not,
it was $6.50 for the Robusto shop, and it went to for the Churchill. I think it was a eight and a quarter, something like that. Coop, do they have a? I brought in 3 sizes. I think they have a torpedo too. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll tell you what, it was different. It was a good smoke. It was.
And
good.
when you look at the price point on the Aurora, the cigar,
well,
the Aurora is much higher.
Right.
Well, not much, but it's a higher price point.
Right. Oh, it is. I mean, that's 2 different points. I just find it's not going to be the highest priming on that cigar. You can, but it's a nice way to get into a Nicaraguan cigar. It's a Puro that's not going to be abrasive and strong as some can be.
Nice.
But he did a nice job.
I have a couple more samples. I'll distribute those to the Stogie Geeks crew. I smoked in a Willie Herrera, Herrera Esteli. This is the short Corona Gordo.
Oh.
I had that wrong in the show notes.
Right.
I smoked this at lunchtime, and it was a fantastic cigar. Some of the backstory, Willie Herrera came into Mr. J. Havana Smoke Shop, and I had the opportunity to meet Willie in, just kind of in summary. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's just down to earth.
Plus, Mark called me big. That guy is massive.
I told you.
He is bigger.
Like Mark
he's taller
you look
than
at
me.
if you don't know him or know who he is, like you look at him and you're
He
like,
looks like a mass murderer.
yeah,
he's
he's
gigantic.
yeah,
He's got a heart the size of a.
he does, and he's the nicest guy.
So,
I was kind of razzing right because he was rolling some fresh cigars, and so he brings a little rolling table when he does the events, and I kind of was talking with him, and I was like, so I said, I see you're like cutting the pigtail off, and you're cutting the wrapper off at the end. I said, can you roll me with either like a pigtail or like a shaggy foot or a closed foot? And he actually rolled me a Robusto or a Corona sized Herrera Esteli with a little bit of a shaggy foot on the end of it. So I have like the only in existence Willie Herrera with a little bit of a shaggy foot, which is in the picture in the show notes in our Stogies feed rather. Which I thought was really cool that that he would do that for me. And he gave it to me, and I bought a box of these short Coronas, and he signed it, and you can see it on there. So it's really cool to meet the guy behind the cigars.
I think we all got a box. Of this.
We did. I think we all
it's
bought
my
a box.
favorite.
Yeah,
I mean,
because when you have it, we should preface it. When they have an event, and Willie's there, and he's going to sign your box, and you get a bunch of free stuff, and you get a little bit of a discount. Yeah, that's the time to buy a box. I think to kind of summarize my assessment of the cigar, I think it's box worthy because these are going to age fantastic. I see great aging potential, a subtle sweetness. But so now I asked Willie some questions, and I, kind of Will's line of questioning, like, what you got coming out next? Like, what are you working on? He says that there's a limited release coming out of the Herrera Esteli blend, which will be a Lancero size. And I don't remember what he said, how many there would be coming out.
He's going to keep that really limited.
Yeah, I think he wanted to say there was like 1,000 or 2. Like it was in the thousands of cigars. They're going to very, very limited.
And this is the
don't
one.
show the band on that.
Oh,
though.
That's right.
Right.
No name on it. We're not going to.
So he also is coming out with which Stogie Santa's holding up is he's also got a entirely new line coming out, which is a Maduro. It's a San Andreas Mexican wrapper, Nicaraguan binder and filler, and these will be in all the new box pressed sizes.
And they'll be out in the springtime.
How do we do, Will? I know that's your kind of bag, talking about what's coming out next. Did we do good in getting?
I'll tell you what, we have breaking news.
We have breaking news.
We have breaking news here.
And the second breaking news we're gonna do. We went out for a couple of drinks and ate. If we see Willie, call him Big Cuba. That's where Phil Zangi and I said that's his new nickname.
Big Cuba.
He's going to be in Charlotte in November. I'm going to remember that.
Yeah, make sure you go say hi.
Go say. Just go up there and mention. He is. Go ahead.
What up, Big Cuba?
What up, Big? Oh yeah, he is. He's a phenomenal.
So I have this in my show notes as well, and I completely agree with your assessment. Paul and I were talking about it going into the event. Like, is this box worthy? Is it
we were. To be honest with you, we were on the fence about it.
And to be honest with you, when they came into the store, people, the consensus, I'm sure you heard this, Will, was a Toro. And I'm not saying the Toro is not a good smoke. And I asked Willie, and Willie said his was. I said the Toro. He said the Corona Gorda was, his second favorite too. But that represents his line the best. My humble opinion.
So I said
we sold out. We sold out of the boxes on the short Corona.
I said that this short Corona has some punch, It's got a lot of some strength to it.
Agree with
Some
that.
nice
It's
spice
completely-
and pepper that really grabs your attention. Typical of Nicaraguan cigars, I think.
Exactly.
There's this underlying sweetness. Mark Jr. describes it as a honey sweetness.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Remember, that's what I was talking
Mark,
about.
you hit the nail on the head with that one. It's subtle. It kind of comes in. It kind of came and went. Excuse me for me. But that's what really
interesting that you say that.
that's what really turned me on to the cigar. I think the other sizes are good. I smoked does they have a Robusto size?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
I smoked the Robusto. I smoked the Pyramid.
I smoked a Lonsdale too.
The Lonsdale, in my opinion, was the one.
I smoked the Lonsdale too. I like the short Corona the best because I think it takes everything he was trying to accomplish in this blend and packs it into that size.
Oh,
and I'm like, you know what? I'm buying a box of those because if you're going to take all of that and pack it in that small size, this one's going to age the best. And that's why I
Plus,
bought a
it's
box.
cool when you get a hand signed
Yeah,
box.
and
stuff like
I
that.
totally agree, and that definitely played into it.
And
for
it
me,
was
too.
funny. Now you tell me what. And again, it's a lot. The position of the leaf that when they roll it, the front part of that is sweet, and in the middle it dissipates, and then at the very back end, does that come back to you or what? Oh my God!
Yeah.
I'm gonna disagree with both of you on that. Actually,
Really?
I thought there was a sweetness that kind of was there for the whole time.
The sweetness in the
Mine
middle
came
to
and
me-
went throughout the whole cigar
right
for me.
in the middle. It maybe it was there. I didn't pick up as prevalent, but at the end it picked up again. To me, I mean, okay, that's
That was
whole
the
thing.
most memorable flavor to me about the entire cigar, though. was
Yeah,
that
me too.
sweetness.
Oh
It-
yeah, I
it
love
stuck
that
with me.
the coffee, cup of coffee.
Yeah.
trust me.
Oh, I think.
Oh,
Because it's not over the top strong either.
No.
Yeah. Let's see. We're on Mark Jr.
Yeah. So this is a guy that Coop's been talking about since he's come on board with us, and I had won this cigar pool on Cigar Pass last year, where at the beginning of the year, if you send in 2 cigars, and you get a team, a football team,
yep.
and if they win the Super Bowl, you win all the cigars that come in.
Uh-huh.
Right? So I got the Ravens.
Okay.
So in the beginning of the year, I'm like, oh, crap,
Right,
there's
yeah,
no
you're
way.
screwed.
Right? Yeah, I'm screwed. And then they had this like memorable run through the thing, and I'm like a Steelers fan rooting for the friggin' Ravens.
Yeah,
at
right.
that point, so I can get some cigars. So, but anyway, there were 2 of these Lou Rodriguez Edición Reserva Lanceros that were in there, and I kind of didn't know what they were. I kind of, just had them there. I knew I'd get around to them eventually. But, Coop, you kind of inspired me to go ahead and reach out for this. So it's a 7x42. It's a slightly box-pressed Lancero. It's a San Andreas wrapper with a Nicaraguan binder. And as he says on his website, a proprietary Nicaraguan blend. Stick had a very toothy, veiny wrapper that is very typical to a San Andreas wrapper.
Right.
It was surprisingly smooth for this blend profile. It had some nice pepper and spice on the back 9 and a subtle barnyard flavor that was there.
Whoa.
But despite the fact that it wasn't there on the draw or on the dry draw or the really smelling
Nothing.
cigar.
You didn't pick anything up at all, huh?
No, I didn't. But then when I smoked it, I got a very slight barnyard flavor, which was a nice compliment to it. It also had some slight cocoa and coffee as well. The spice gradually built throughout the cigar, which really added to the experience to me. I think it should also be mentioned and not understated that there's a doctor producing premium cigars in this industry.
Yep.
And for all this industry is going through and really the fight that it faces going
the
forward,
attack, that's
to have a
unsafe.
doctor on our side
Yep.
really is an asset. But that being said, I think this is a very solid fiver, maybe verging on box split.
Right. Now, can we talk about Cubans tonight or no?
Yeah. So I was actually going to go back over to you,
Yeah,
Stogie Santa, because you haven't talked about the stuff you've been smoking lately.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to hear what you've been
the
smoking.
Juan Lopez. I'm gonna.
You've been talking about these Juan Lopez's.
I like that cigar.
The Juan Lopez Petite Corona 5x42. Right now, it's borderline, very, very, very close to box worthy. I think it's going to go past box. I don't think it'll ever go to Oasis. I won't go that far, but it's going to be box worthy within a couple of months. The sweetness and the spice balance on that is so nice, so very, very nice. A phenomenal smoke. It really is not Oasis, but a great, great smoke. I really did. and I'm saying I'm going to try to put these. I took down a half a dozen already. So now I put I jotted down the notes, see what it's all about. I want to see what that change is all about.
You're like me, man.
I'm going to make it a little harder for you to put some of them away.
I have a problem with the Tatuaje Corona Gordas.
Yes.
I just keep smoking those.
Whatever. We'll stick with that. This is something, if you want to try something different, a lot of people, don't like Petite Coronas. And if you to go back to Jose, the preference to what he says, that to me, like the kind of the number one on a special select on the Juan Lopez, it's
the Corona Gorda.
No,
number 2 is the Corona Gorda.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And it compacts the smoke. It's just so good, so delicious. What happens is that when I smoke one, I light another one right after it because it's just so good.
It's funny you say that too about the Corona, Petite Corona for that matter. I find that sizes become very seasonal for me.
Oh, there's no doubt.
So there's no secret here, guys, right? I'm a Robusto Corona guy. That's my thing. Yeah. That's where I go all year round. I'll smoke those. But we're here in New England. We're coming up on Petite Corona,
and that's
season,
how I'm buying.
Right? And that's where I was going with this. That's where I'm really focusing my efforts right now. Is like stocking up on some petites so that I can. I
need some more liquor.
Continue.
No,
you want the birthday
one, or what do you want?
Oh, I tell you what. Okay.
I'm coming up on. We're coming up on Petite Corona season, and it's always good to hear about a new one or something that maybe you haven't paid much attention to in the past.
And we're gonna get those to the Stogies crew, and I want that as they say in the world, fair and balance, and I think we're all going to be very happy with that.
Nice.
Juan Lopez, I actually just did a little bit of research on it because I reviewed the Altada stick that came out. I talked a little about that a couple weeks ago, but I did a little research on it. They are actually that was a big brand at one time in Cuba, and it's really become a small line now. It's almost become like a boutique line in Cuba.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Will, you smoke some more sticks that you have on your list. I think is the Punch Bare Knuckle the one that's up next to this?
Yeah. So the Punch Bare Knuckle is a retail exclusive cigar for Cigar International by General as part of the Punch brand. Ecuadorian Habano sun-grown wrapper, undisclosed binder, Honduran Nicaraguan filler. I smoked the 5x50 Bellicoso. Interesting cigar. It had notes of cocoa, pepper, wood, earth. It had a little bit of this grapefruit sweetness to it, so it had a little bit of sourness, but as well on it.
I gave it to you. He told me.
Yeah. It had a little kick. It wasn't. I'd say it was medium to full strength. The flavors were really heavy in the mouth, so they were full bodied there. It didn't have me doing handstands, this cigar.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a bad cigar. For something, I know mail order places, we can debate that versus brick and mortars, but this is something, that the brick and mortars aren't carrying, and if you're going to check something out from a mail order place, I put a try one for it.
Okay. How about you, Paul?
I smoked a J.D. Howard Reserve Robusto. I thought this stick was good. I really thought that it was a little unbalanced, to be honest with you. I got some of the flavors. I thought they were good. It's hard. I only smoked one, so it's kind of hard for me to give a full.
I'm glad we're going
flavor profile. I called it a 5er because I think with a little bit of time, it's going to be really good. I saw some potential in it. This is a Brazilian Arapiraca. Arapiraca.
I
you can't even say it.
Give me some more booze. I'll say anything.
The binder is Ecuadorian Sumatra, and the filler is Nicaraguan. I believe to have smoked the 5.5 by 50. The MSRP is $9.30. And that's that kind. I have to admit that kind of weighed into the 5er. If I pay $10 for a Robusto, I think it should smoke like outstanding out of the box. And this one to me was a little unbalanced. I can see where they're going with it, and I think that with age, these are going to be really good. But right now, buy a 5er, smoke one now, put them to rest for a little while, 6 months revisit, a year revisit kind of thing. I think they're worth I think it's worth $50 a year.
Now, all of you guys have. Now, I think all of us have talked about this cigar. No. I know you have, and I know Will have. I've smoked a 46.
Oh,
the
not
bingo. What came in, right?
That came in. We got.
You got some now?
Yeah, you're stealing my. Okay, go with this because Coop put a thing in my ear a couple of weeks. Go ahead. Go finish.
It's the best size by far.
Oh, I'm going to send this down to Coop.
By far.
Because I think Coop hit a real good explanation of Cigar. I thought it was good. My first had because I did the 46 and I was really blown away. And I revisited the other sizes, and I'm gonna probably I know Jose likes them and a lot of people. I thought they were good. They were angler to 5, but you want a representation of that size, that 46, and we got limited Lanceros coming in.
Ooh,
yeah.
I'd love to try that.
And I did all the different sizes, and Coop, and I understood what you said a couple of weeks ago, I cannot understand your assessment, because what I did the 46, and I just did everything on that particular stick. I went back to the other ones, and I see where you're coming with this, Coop. I really do. I got it. I really do.
Yeah,
but
sometimes it's, I feel sometimes, we talk about size matters, and in this case, I think it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So
no,
I got to make a
is
note.
where
I
it's
got to
at
send.
on
Okay,
that.
40. I got to put that note in my phone now, because if not, tomorrow, I got to send it down to Coop, the 46, along with the other ones. So go ahead, guys.
Mark Jr., what else you got brewing?
Yeah. So I smoked a Don Carlos Robusto, brand new one. Stogie Santa, actually, I came in there. I was like, Stogie Santa, hook me up with something, right? Something that I don't normally reach for.
Out of your wheelhouse, as we call it.
Outside of the wheelhouse.
Outside the wheelhouse.
It's a 5x50 Robusto. Very, very, standard Robusto size. Cameroon wrapper, binder and fillers, Dominican. They're about $9. We've talked, you've heard us talk about the aged ones that have come through. This has tons of the Cameroon sweetness paired with this really nice slight bready quality. I have to say, though, that this is obviously not as good as the aged ones, but for what it's going to become, they're fantastic, right? Mm-hmm. I was never a big fan of this blend until you started giving me the aged ones, and now I'm all about them. Right.
Oh, they're phenomenal. They're unbelievable, the aged ones.
We talk about aging potential, right?
Yeah.
This is a cigar with tremendous amounts of aging potential. If you like them when they're new, you will friggin' flip over them when they're a couple years old. Mm-hmm. I'm saying a new one rates at a 5 for me.
Right.
Right?
I agree.
But you should not hesitate to buy a box if you love this blend, because I will tell you this. If you have the discipline to sit on them for a couple of years, it will easily flip over to box worthy, maybe even better than that, right?
Okay.
So, but as a new one, they rate as a 5 in my opinion.
Now, did you put in your show notes about the Accutane that came in? I'm probably killing the name.
I did not, because it was today, so I finished my show notes.
Okay,
last night.
what we're going to do with that? We're going to revisit that next week.
Yeah, I haven't smoked. I'll pick some up tomorrow.
Coop, do you have those down at your spot yet? The Romacraft.
We do. In fact, Skip Martin's actually in Charlotte this weekend.
Okay, good. What we're going to do, I'm not going to pass judge. I mean, it's a good judgment, but what we're going to do, I think that's something we're going to revisit for next show. So, okay, back to you, the Coop. What did you smoke?
Okay, I'm going to do 2 sticks at once here because there's 2 sizes. I'm going to go to the A Flores Gran Reserva. I'll start with the Robusto.
Okay.
So that is the 5x52, and this is a cigar by PDR Cigars that was released at the show. Dominican Corojo 2006 wrapper, undisclosed binder, and Dominican Corojo filler, and Nicaraguan Habano filler as well. This cigar, it started off really good. It had some peppers, that cedar sweet spice, nice cinnamon undertone to it. The second half, it got more earthy. The sweet spice and pepper, it became a little more of this exotic type of spice. Flavors were medium to full body. This cigar was also medium to full strength. Great construction on the thing. In fact, for this PDR cigar, I thought it had more in the way of flavor transitions than a lot of other PDR cigars. I just kind of wish the flavors of the first half stuck around for the second half.
Thank you.
Yep.
I think,
I mean, you gave it a 5. I gave it a try one.
Yeah, I gave it angular.
I tell you what, the first third was awesome, and I think I said the same exact thing that you said, is that age would help it out, but
I don't
found
think
the same.
the age is not going to help it.
I said I
don't
really
think-
love the way this cigar started off, and then
Yeah.
it kind of dissipated
I,
from there.
I agree.
Mark,
I don't
grab a
think
cube.
I don't think the age is going to do that. I think what you're going to see on that cigar is what you see.
Yeah.
That's my humble opinion.
Now,
I don't know.
the issue, and I normally, I try not to look at price too much, right? This has got a price point of $12.35, which is it's a high price point. And I'm just kind of a little unsure about that. And I smoked the half Corona as well, which is the small. The half Corona is the same blend.
That's
but
the
it's
one.
in a three.
Yep, that's the one I smoked, Will.
Yeah, it was a 3.5 by 46, and I thought it was a compressed version of that. Here's the thing. If I'm going to spend, and that was a $6 smoke. When I get into that, I'm not about the kind of person who wants to go out and have a quick smoke. I want to sit back, relax, and enjoy it.
I agree.
So, from my perspective, I did give it a $5, but, I'd still go for the Robusto, I think, over that small one.
I'll tell you. While we're on the Fomis, I'm killing that name. Help me out, Mark. The M21 with aging room.
Fortissimo.
I'm telling you, month by month, that cigar. It's all a fiver right now. That's box worthy within about 2 or 3 months. Have you done that at all, Will?
Yeah, in fact, I did it on the show a few weeks ago. I liked it a lot. I haven't really kind of sat down and reviewed it yet. I've had a couple of them, and I agree with your assessment. They're getting better. They were advertised as being powerhouses, and there's a strong cigar.
No.
I still think the Maduro is a stronger cigar. I think the Maduro.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
And there's a lot of buzz about that San Andreas wrapper.
Well, very interesting. Now it was originally called Nicaraguan, and now it's being called San Andreas.
And so I think whatever. We're going to leave that one alone, but yeah, whatever. So that aging room Maduro is I found that is a lot, not a lot, but significantly more full bodied than the Famissimo. I think it had more pepper, the other one, the M21.
For sure.
I agree. I agree.
The pepper on that, and I found that on the retrohale to be much more of a black pepper than a white pepper. Do we agree?
On the Maduro.
No, on the M21.
So you're saying the M21 had more pepper than the Maduro?
Yeah, I thought so.
Interesting.
That's me. That's what I got. How about you, Will?
It's not remembering, but it definitely. If I had to kind of remember, I'm agreeing with you, but I got to go back and revisit that.
Okay, whatever. I think that cigar, 6 months, maybe. I'm not going to put a time on. With age, that cigar is going to be all box worthy, all of it, and it's it's not a cheap stick. It's $11.99. But anyway, how about you?
So, Will, you sent me a whole bunch of cigars from the same manufacturer, Brun Del Rey. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I believe that's it, right? They're a Costa Rican company.
It's a
that were very generous to provide us a lot of cigars.
a lot of sticks. So I have samples for the rest of the Stogies.
Yeah,
crew
that
as
was
well.
for everybody.
Good
too,
thing we said this because I don't think we would have got the samples. If they're good, we don't see them. No,
Ah.
I'm only busted. Go ahead.
So
They were individually divided.
No,
and equally
I'm
possible.
only.
So I'm gonna talk about the Gold Perfecto, Brun Del Rey Gold Perfecto.
What was it? What was it again?
Brun Del Rey.
Brun.
Yeah,
Right.
BRUNDELRE.
Okay.
Now, just so you know, this is a brand that's popular in Europe, and they're trying to make a footprint in the U.S. And I met with one of the people from the company, and that's what he told us his goal is. So they're not really they're in some shops in the U.S., but they're really looking to make a push here. So that's one of many blends they have.
So they said that they described the taste as a medium strong. I found this to be a very
never
mild
did anything
cigar.
I did too.
The wrapper's from Ecuador, the binder's Indonesian, and the filler is Nicaraguan and Costa Rica. It's an interesting
Thank
mix
you.
of
So
tobaccos.
I'll
The
make
burn
it
and
up.
draw
I'll
were
give it.
great. In fact, I found this to be a really slow burner. I don't know if I was like working at the time or whatever. It was very smooth. I got some sweet tobacco flavors. For me, it was really too mild, and I hate to say that about cigars because I do like cigars of all
Say that
different.
again, please.
It was really too mild.
Really?
It was a mild cigar.
I like cigars of all different strength profiles.
Me
right?
too,
I like
right.
everything from the most mild cigar to the strongest cigar. It was not bad from any stretch, but I kept waiting for more flavors to develop. and it never really happened for me. I think this is the perfect stick to give to a new cigar smoker.
And I was just asking. I was just talking about. No, what was the components of the cigar again?
So the wrapper is from Ecuador.
Yeah.
The binder is from Indonesian, and the filler is Nicaraguan and Costa Rican. Very, very mild. I thought this would be an awesome experience for a newbie because it was a great smoking experience.
And you know something, you're hitting on a really great point because as seasoned smokers, I think to get into that introduction of a cigar, because I think if you can overpower someone, and I think Jose said that at the end of this,
yes,
some tolerances, no matter how much you smoke, like the Antonio.
yes,
You know, before Drew Estates took it over, years ago, they were to me just too much for me.
over the top.
You know,
yeah.
I mean, not that I got sick on it, whatever. I didn't enjoy it.
The
Yes.
dark Corojo?
No,
the
Antonio.
original
The-
Antonio.
the
1970.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And I got some age.
Oh yeah, and they're good.
Oh, I got.
I smoked the Churchill from
That's
that.
another
Or were
one.
they
Yeah, that was good.
Machitos? Or
Oh, the
Machitos?
Machito.
Machitos.
How you pronounce
The
it?
Coronas. They were
Coronas,
Oh,
yeah.
Machito,
oh
I think they were called.
my God. I personally smoked at least a box of those.
But even the Churchill you gave me recently.
Yeah, and that's another one to send down.
I didn't put
Did
it
you
in my
get those?
notes, but it's
You
good.
gave me one. I forgot about it.
And that's
I gotta
another one to
smoke
send. Oh, well, if these aren't 6 to 7 years old, they're not a year old.
Wow.
The Churchills. But anyway, I'm losing the
Sorry.
point. Yeah.
So the Brundel Rey, the gold, I'm rating it as a try one.
what with this? Your palate. Okay. With
It,
this,
it lacked flavor, man.
but how about the body?
It lacked body too. It was.
Ooh, that's not
I don't.
good.
It wasn't. So it wasn't like smoking air, like I'm smoking a Griffin's Tubo.
Is it Macanudo type?
It's not as bad as a Griffin's or a Macanudo. It's a step above that in terms of the body and the flavor, but there's not much more than that.
I thought there was a market for it. Okay, so I think there's
Yes,
there's a
yes.
profile for it. It's probably not
Mild.
ours, and I'd probably put it. I mean, if I had to score it numerically, I think it would score well. But in terms of how we assess it here,
Yeah,
I agree with where you put it.
Yeah, Will's hitting the nail on the head with this cigar. That's exactly how I describe
Oh,
it.
look at that. Okay, before Paul goes any farther, can I interject something, if you don't mind? No. Can you show the listeners what you're smoking?
Yeah, so
Please.
I finished my Aurora Preferidos Gran Reserva 2003, and now I'm smoking a Debonair. This is the Robusto size. It's what's his name? Phil
Zangi.
Zangi, who I had the pleasure of meeting this week as well. I met two people in the cigar
guy.
industry.
Cool
Very
guy.
cool
Yeah,
guy.
we spent some.
And I this is the second cigar I've smoked from his line. I really enjoy them. The first one I'll talk about, I actually reviewed in my show notes. I didn't give a rating because I smoked it at the wrong time of day, and my palate wasn't where it should be. And I wasn't aware of the strength profile when I smoked these. These have a really strong profile to
I'm
them.
going to
It's
tell you,
got some
and the
kick to it.
Sagitos, the ones the one I sent down to you, Coop.
The Panatella, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that I'll tell you.
Flavor explosion and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Yep.
These are really good. I'm liking these a lot.
Yeah,
I'm liking these a lot.
We'll do that at another time, and I'll explain some things of what he does with that. So anyway,
We're trying to get Phil on the show.
what he does.
It might be as early as next week is when we're trying to get Phil on the show. His cigars are very, very good. People are really liking them. We're smoking them as sample, kind of sampling them now. But I'm really liking them.
I'll
so
tell you
far.
one thing. When we have him on the show, you guys are
Be
going to
ready.
be impressed for the amount of information and words
He's there.
Got a lot
that
of
guy
history
can
in this
get out
business.
in
Oh.
a minute. It is impressive
There is
how knowledgeable, but how fast that guy talks, man. It's,
Right.
it's-
And
and we're from the Northeast, man.
right,
We're used
and
to
that's
fast
without
talkers.
that's without coffee, and what he does, how he steams that cigar with distilled water, it's incredible. There's a lot to that. I can't wait till we do that. Anyway,
Yeah, so
That's the next episode.
I did. I smoked the petite Corona.
yeah, but it's called it's not Segundo. Second, there's a name Seguito.
Seguito.
Yeah.
That thing is phenomenal, phenomenal.
got
And,
some-
and he's got some new things coming down the
kick
pike I
to it.
can't speak about, but
Yeah.
Anyway.
Will, back to you.
Skip me, dude.
Did I skip you again?
Yeah.
Sorry.
oh wow.
Go ahead,
all
Mark Jr. Mark Jr., back to you.
I
Yeah,
smoked
you're right.
the
You're next.
Illusione MK Ultra.
Oh,
So these are 5.5 by 42 Corona Nicaraguan Puro. The wrapper is a Habano. The binder and filler are not disclosed anything other than Nicaraguan. They're about $7.50. Recently, these came back into the store locally, and I've had only positive experiences with these in the past, so buying some was a no-brainer. The size, this size is a limited production, you may say, in terms of the ultra blend. It has a little bit more strength and sweetness than the original Illusione line. And I agree with the company's website in that it has a subtle licorice and pepper flavor to it. I love these. I think they're great. They're a box split without hesitation. Hey, if you, yeah, I guess that's it, right? It's just a really good, solid offering from a really good brand.
I would have to say that these are probably one of my most favorite Nicaraguan puros. I think it really embodies that Nicaraguan puro. It really is a great representation of the tobacco. Yeah, amps it up in the strength, but not. You
Not too
smoke something
far.
like an Opus X, and that strength can really just overpower your senses. This embodies strength, but there's a lot of nice subtle flavors that you still pick up in the cigar. So.
That's
And I've
there's
never
not a big
had one
numbers
that didn't
reason.
burn perfectly.
Yeah,
These are really well
You
made
smoke a lot of these
cigars, too.
Stogies.
Oh, I
Santa.
love
Yeah.
I that and again that.
I don't hear a lot of people talking about these.
No,
either.
but Illusione, there's whatever.
It's kind of boutique-y brand.
Boutique.
Yeah.
What I think what happens with them is that some of the strength can scare some people away with that, and some of the price pointing, with Nicky picking. But it's I can only order so much on the ultras, and that's it.
Well, they're what you would call limited production,
Right,
right?
exactly.
They're not limited edition, and they come out regularly, but you're not going to see a lot of them in a store at once.
Yep, exactly, and I think that's a great line. I really that in the '88. But anyway,
Well,
back to
you
Coop.
did the Quesada Oktoberfest, the Krone size.
yes. I think I talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I
Yes.
revisited it again. That's the 5x43 Corona, and that's what Crone means. It translates to Corona. It's a Dominican Puro with that Dominican Sabao wrapper, Dominican binder, and Dominican Cubacy Criollo, Odor, Viso, Lajero. So there's different primings in that thing. I'm really liking this this size in the Corona. It's a very different profile than the rest of the Oktoberfest blend.
Absolutely.
It's got some mocha. It's got some pepper, a little bit of citrus. Not the most complex cigar, but it's got this gritty feel to it too. It's an intangible thing, I guess is the best way to say it. But really, it's a different. I mean, if you smoke some of the bigger ring gauge Oktoberfest, you'd think this is a completely different blend.
Yeah.
I liked it. I'm liking it. It's a new size for this year's release, and I rated it a 5.
So you seem like, but you're not convinced with it, are you?
It's, I wish there was more complexity to it. That's the one thing I think it's missing.
Okay.
It seemed like maybe because it's a short smoke and it doesn't have time to evolve with it is why I'm not convinced. But it's a good smoke. It's not bad, but it just did not have a lot of complexity. It was very start to finish, pretty much the same.
My one complaint about the Oktoberfest blend is I find it to be somewhat inconsistent.
These have been more consistent, Paul, and I would agree with your point. Especially with the Ubers and the Bavarians, I've found them very inconsistent. I've smoked several of the Crones, which is why I went back and smoked it again this week, and they seem to be the most consistent. It's not like the Dunkel, in my opinion, which I talked about last week. That's the smoke-in broadleaf.
Yeah.
That's on another level. That's
Really?
on another level. Yeah, that's a great cigar.
Interesting.
But what's the Ludwig? Did you say the Ludwig you find inconsistent?
No, the Bavarian and
the
the
Ludwig,
Uber.
the box presses. I'll tell you.
I like that a lot. the
Oh,
box.
me too. But Paul got me hooked on that little.
The Kurz.
Oh,
I find those to be inconsistent too, but
I don't know.
they're really
I
good.
can't. Maybe I didn't smoke enough of them. If I had maybe a dozen of them, I still like that Corona. Again, Maybe I just picked out the right ones at the right batch at the right time, but
So I smoked an Opus X Magnum O, and I want to set the stage.
Magnum O.
So I'm going to say that we talked about my picture earlier, and I'm going to say that I love Paul's picture here.
Oh, thank
Not
you.
because
a
of the
little man
quality,
love
but
here.
I'm going to talk about the drink.
The
that's
old
hiding
fashioned in
behind
the
it.
background.
I know what that is. And,
let me guess. You made it.
no, I didn't.
No.
But,
So let me
it's an
set
old-fashioned,
Let me
and
set the
it's
stage
my
for you.
drink.
So the reason I don't have more smokes in different smokes is I was in Louisville, Kentucky over the past weekend at a conference that we call DerbyCon. It's a computer hacking and security conference, and it just so happens that this one is in Louisville, Kentucky, which, as we all know, is like the
Bourbon
birthplace
capital.
of bourbon,
right.
So you can get bourbon ale on tap, which is way different from the bourbon ale we
Wait a
get in the
minute.
bottles here.
On tap.
Oh, it's so it. So I had
I mean, not to be naive. Are you literally saying on tap?
on tap,
I never
Bourbon
heard
on
of that.
tap?
on
Yeah.
tap,
Are you
from
serious?
the tap.
I
From the
never
tap.
heard of that.
Yeah.
Never
What
heard.
else do you call it?
No. I'm
saying bourbon ale on tap.
Bourbon ale on tap. Yeah, bourbon ale.
I
yeah,
thought.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
Coop, did you think when he said
Like
like
bourbon-
I
bourbon?
yeah.
thought it was bourbon on tap.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
me too. I said never heard. Okay, I'm not.
No,
the only-
maybe you could probably find a place that
Okay,
had
bourbon ale on tap.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you now. Go ahead.
Draft bourbons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like wow, the combination.
Sorry,
of that.
bourbon ale was on tap, and it's just a great experience. This is my fifth year
Every time you come back,
going to Louisville. Yeah, it's just a great city. And they've got a little place called 4th Street Live, which is in downtown Louisville. And there's a Maker's Mark restaurant there. The food was fantastic. And their bourbon selection was not just Maker's Mark, but it's all kinds of different
bourbon
bourbon.
infused steaks or something.
They use bourbon in their cooking. I had this goat's cheese dip and steak, and it was a fabulous meal. I had a bourbon flight sampler. I had Booker's. I had Baker's.
One of my favorite marinades that I've ever used in my entire life. I
Yeah.
love cooking too. It's one of the things I
cooking
like
with
to do.
bourbon, I think, is where it's
it
at.
is-
Stuffies. I got to
marinade-
get your stuffies. You got to make stuffies. For me,
Bourbon?
please.
Pineapple juice and soy sauce.
Yeah.
What?
Like a phenomenal.
Say that
marinade.
again.
It's 2 parts bourbon, 1 part pineapple juice, and 1 part
Soy
soy
sauce.
sauce. And I'm telling you,
Soy sauce is going to be salty.
Yeah.
it works with beef. Ridiculous. It's unbelievable.
I want to say the steak I had was.
Really?
Oh, it's just awesome.
I'm not fucking with you,
you
man.
got to do something with that.
So after we have
Fucking-
this fabulous meal and all this bourbon, right? We go outside to the outdoor area because a table opened up, and we decided to have some more
Magnum
drinks.
O. I
Yeah.
never.
So I lit up a Magnum O.
Okay.
Now
explain
talk
the
about-
sides. Explain the sides, please.
So it's a 5 by 56 Opus X.
Have you tried that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Mark Jr.'s out.
All right.
It's not. It's a hard size to come by. It's a relatively new size. It's a great cigar. I find it the strength is kind of kicked down a notch, so the flavors kind of come through.
Sweetness.
You get a sweetness,
The Opus sweetness.
Opus sweetness and leather throughout the whole thing. Doesn't change up too much, but it's extremely enjoyable. So I'm sitting out there.
Do any gentlemen have one?
Cigars are a hot commodity
Might.
in Louisville when we go to these conferences.
I've only
Let
ever
me tell
gotten
you,
it from him.
Good
I got
cigar town.
I got Stogie Geeks listeners and Paul.com listeners coming to my booth, recognizing me as being into cigars and asking me if I have cigars. And like I brought cigars that I would normally smoke, and I'm kind of like, like, are you a cigar smoker, or are you
well,
just
yeah,
you know
right,
you're gonna
right.
smoke a first, third, and throw it out? There's cigar shops, but it's hard to get to when you're at the conference. So cigars were a hot commodity. So I gave someone a Viaje Oro, double torpedo.
Get back to the Magnum O.
And
I want to hear this.
The Magnum O was awesome. It
Now,
paired-
how much age on this?
probably maybe a year.
Now, is this something you brought with you?
I brought it with me.
Now, how long? What am I trying to say? Is this a new production of Opus? I
want to say it came out 2 or 3 years ago. Like it's relatively new
But
size.
it's,
that's a big-
but it's not like the Fuentes or the Super Bellicosos or something like that. It's not that
Young.
regularly produced.
Yeah. Very, very good. It paired really well. I had an old fashioned I don't remember my old fashions. Some of my old fashions were made with Eagle Rare. This one was made with something different. I don't remember what it was. This is when you go to Louisville, man. You get old fashions. And so I asked the bartender. I'm
with
like,
Eagle Rare.
Yeah,
with Eagle Rare.
I asked the bartender. I'm like,
I do it too.
I'm like, look. I said I'm in
man.
Louisville. I love bourbon. I'm like, you pick the bourbon for my old fashioned. I'm like, surprise me with something fabulous. And after my second one, I'm like, what are you making these with? She's like, Eagle Rare 12-year.
Oh.
It's not the antique collection.
I know, but still, that doesn't make any difference.
Fabulous bourbon, and sitting out there in the street, on a Saturday night. So 4th Street Live is busy with people all over the place.
Shit.
It's just fantastic.
Need some more bourbon for that?
More for me with this cigar
You see that?
was the experience, right? Was sitting out there. We had worked hard selling T-shirts, giving out Stogie Geek stickers and that kind of thing, and just relaxing with some of the guys that work for Paul.com and sharing a cigar with them and a drink. It was just, and then going over to the table next to us, there was people that were there with the conference and giving them cigars as well and kind of fostering that brotherhood. It was just a very memorable experience I want to share with our Stogie Geeks listeners. So.
Do you have? I want. Is that something you have in stock?
I may have 1 or 2 left in my.
Okay, I'll order some.
I'll see.
No, I'll order some.
Let me see what I have left. And so I actually bought. I want to say every Magnum O I've gotten, I've bought from Casa Fuente at their prices, which is expensive. That's the only place I've ever been able to find this Magnum O size.
You guys, I mean, I wouldn't say novice, but you guys know much more than I do about the Opus.
I tell you what, and it's a large ring gauge. I mean, some of the Salomon sizes, the BBMFs have that large ring gauge. This is a straight 56 ring gauge. And you're like, is this going to be good? And I tell you what, it delivers because, like I said, it knocks down that strength meter, but it still delivers in the flavor department.
It's still now, something. Well, I never ask you what was your? Are you an Opus guy?
Not a huge Opus guy, but I don't smoke a lot of them. Just because it's more of a special occasion cigar, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, but just everything. Like I to be honest with you, I dibbled at this, and these guys, what they've done to me with Opus is they. Oh my God,
I'm a freak.
Oh, you guys have turned me on some things.
There's some sizes.
Oh, that just I'm telling you, I get it when people, and I want to turn this to Opus again. I did certain Opuses, and I was up and down. Every Opus that these guys have given me has been off the charts. And like I said, my buddy
Steve.
Steve.
Was it a double Corona I gave you at your house?
Oh, remember that? Those? I almost wet myself. I sat asking. I
traded Mark Jr. and there was a bunch of double Coronas.
I asked him. I sat on the deck. Asked him. I couldn't. I was numb.
Yeah,
he didn't talk.
Exactly. I couldn't. Exactly. And I'm just like, oh my God. And it had what would you say? 3 years of age, or maybe 4.
Much more than that.
No,
whatever it was.
Yeah, he's got some double Coronas.
Oh,
yeah.
I was just sitting there. I mean, it put you in a state of hip. I was like, someone.
So,
did,
we've talked about Opus a lot, right?
Yeah.
And we've talked about aging Opuses, right? And all that kind of stuff. Opuses should be an exercise in discipline for everyone that buys Opus.
And that's and I'm gonna be honest with you. I supposedly know something about cigars, and I get it. That of all brands, and they're supposed to be aged before they. I don't get it. I just don't get.
Same with Añejo. The Añejo.
Yeah.
It's all about discipline with those higher end Fuentes, man.
Oh,
it's about sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And once you think you've waited long enough, wait longer.
Yep. Wait another year.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean. There's what we all think. The preference, to Mr. Blanco, is that age has its potential.
Yep.
And if there's maybe Davidoff too, but there's nothing else that ages like that. Nothing. No, there's nothing.
No.
I don't know.
And they can age out. The original release Opus X.
It takes a while.
I'm talking 8 years, 9 years.
No, more 10 plus.
13, 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
It took like 12, 13 years for one.
That double Corona, I got to say, was probably one of my most memorable fucking Opuses.
So I do want to say, just going back to Louisville, I had an interesting situation. The first night I was there, I went to a restaurant. It was a brewery, actually. Right when you walk into 4th Street Live, they last year I was smoking cigars outside, and I always ask after dinner. I'm like, "So can I smoke?" And they're like, "Oh, no problem. We'll get you an ashtray. It's not a problem." The waitress is like, "It's not, not an issue." And I'm like, and I asked her
really
specifically. I said, "Can I smoke
Right off
cigars?"
the truck?
And she said, "No. You can't smoke cigars. You can only smoke
Why?
cigarettes." And I'm like, and I gave her this look, like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" And she saw the look on my face. And I think the first thing that popped in her head was, "Holy crap, my tip is in jeopardy right now."
Yeah.
So she turns to me, and she's like, "Well, you can." She's like, "I like cigars too, right?" That's what she said to me, which is rare for a waitress. I don't know if she was bullshitting me or whatever, but she's like, "I like cigars too," and I think she did. I think she was a cigar smoker,
Right.
And she's like, "As long as no one complains," she's like, "Go ahead and smoke your cigar." Now she knew because I was going to sit there and have a couple more drinks. That it was in her best interest to let me have a cigar. And I told her when she came back, I'm like, if anyone complains, I'll buy a drink, round on them, and they'll be fine with it, right? That's how much I wanted to sit outside and have a drink and have my cigar, right? I just traveled in that day, and I'm like, I just need to decompress and have a cigar. The weekend that we had coming up was brutal,
Now, okay, Coop, we're over here reminiscing. What do we got next on the list?
Went a little bit old school and went back and smoked the Don Pepin original, the blue label.
Yep. Which
in
one?
the Robusto de Invictos.
Yeah.
So that's a Nicaraguan Puro with the Corojo Oscuro wrapper, the Criollo binder, and the Criollo and Corojo filler. This is a cigar that really stands the test of time. It's been around 10 years. They recently put some packaging changes on it, which is really why I wanted to smoke it again. And it's still a great cigar. It gets forgotten about with everything that's coming out. Got nice chocolate flavors. Got a little bit of orange peel I picked up from it, and of course some pepin pepper. I find this cigar to be a lot stronger than people also give it credit for. I think it's a full smoke that you're going to get in terms of strength and body. It's a box split cigar in my book. It's an enjoyable cigar still.
And on the blue label, no, it's another one, and I may put it in a note, and I'll send this down to you. Esquisito. You ever tried that in the blue label? I think.
Yes.
Esquisitos or whatever. Again, the bourbon's kicking in the New England accent. I find that cigar is so. I think it's one of the most underrated cigars in the Pepin repertoire. I really do.
That's the Corona Gorda, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I really do. And the other one, before we go into the next one, another one. I love the black label Robusto.
The Cuban classic.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, oh, I'm telling you, it really. I'm not. I mean, I pick and choose with Pepins, but anyway, Paul, what you got on your list?
I'm done.
Mark,
I was traveling.
Tatuaje 10th anniversary Havana Cazadores.
Oh, here we go.
So I've talked a few times about the year that I think that Pete Johnson's having, and I think this is really a banner year for him.
To say the least.
Yeah, and this one really kind of stays in line with that, really. I love the Noea in this 10th anniversary. But Stogie Santa said, hey, try one of these, right? It had all that it had in the other one, especially the chocolate. I'm not going to get into it too much because we've talked about it ad nauseum, right? Almost. But it's still box. This is box worthy too, right? And I've contemplated now buying a second box of the Noeas, but in fact, instead of doing that, I might buy a box of these.
Yeah, they're
to have a box of each. They are friggin' ridiculous.
They're ridiculous.
They're so good.
While we're on the tats, well, just to give you a little update on the Corona Gorda, they're coming in. I'm gonna say December because I'd rather see it come in November, and I'd rather see it December and then it comes in November and then the other way around. I've got quite a few of the jar releases, so let me know what you want to do.
Absolutely.
I'll take care of
I'll
that.
be talking to you.
Whatever you need. Anyway, go ahead.
Executive producer Rob Kornmeyer, who's the producer for Paul.com and this show, I gave him a Tatuaje Noea Reserva.
They're coming in too. They should be in about another 2 weeks.
Let me tell you, he was blown away, completely blown away.
Wow.
And he's not the most seasoned cigar smoker in the world, but After I gave him that cigar, man, he was freaking hooked. He's actually messaging me right now. He's like, I'm looking for some Tatuaje. He's like totally hooked. He's like totally hooked. So it was and I've given Rob quite a few cigars over the time, and I gave him this one, and you could really see like this like change from, wow, this cigar thing is really cool.
My daughter loves that.
Yeah, he really digs.
Isn't it amazing?
Everyone I give that cigar to is totally blown away.
Right.
Totally blown away.
So,
Will, back to you.
All right. I stopped in Washington D.C. at Draper's.
I was going to ask you when you were in D.C. It sounded like you stopped
I love
somewhere.
This guy.
Yeah.
Well, my back was hurting driving back from New York.
This guy, his back was hurting. I think that's an understatement. He's probably crunched over, hand on the wheel. There goes Drapers.
The Drapers is right here. Wow, leather chairs.
Freaking Will.
My back hurts. I need a cigar.
You guys have me figured out pretty good. Huh?
Oh, no, because we're all the same way.
It's hilarious, Will.
Go ahead, Will.
So they have a Lancero, which is a limited production run they did for the store's 126th anniversary. And by the way, La Aurora and Drapers, there's no two places that have more anniversary stuff than those two put together. I loved the Guillermo Leon signature, which is what I smoked in the Lancero in the Corona Gorda.
So good.
I can't say the same thing about the Lancero. This is, I know people get excited.
No,
Lancero,
excuse me.
Lancero.
What you just say? You don't understand? Rephrase.
I know. People get very excited about Lanceros,
right?
Just because it's a Lancero,
right?
But just like everything can't work in a 6x60, everything can't work in a Lancero.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think this is one of them. I think this just didn't have the flavors of that Corona Gorda and the Guillermo Leon signature. Wonderful. This one, very woody. It didn't have as much complexity. The other flavors just didn't seem to come to control, and the wood notes just really seemed to overwhelm it.
Yeah, I was surprised at your ranking with this, Will.
Yeah, I really was surprised. I had it as an angler. I really don't think it was an off day I was having with this. I just felt whatever that Corona Gorda with maybe a little more ring gauge, it made a difference, I thought.
Okay.
But, everyone, I'd say encourage them to try it and let me know if I'm wrong on that. I haven't seen a lot of people review this cigar out there.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mark Jr.?
My final cigar was a redo. I did the Tatuaje La Verte 2009 Churchill. I talked about it in episode 41, so I won't bore you with the stats again. This is a very nice cigar and is aging extremely well, in my opinion. It's not losing anything in terms of flavor and strength. If there's any change to speak of from what I talked about in the 41 episode 41, I would say that the sweetness is taking more of a prominent role in this cigar, which is even making it a little bit more enjoyable to me at this point. I would say that this is still every bit box-worthy.
And I guess what? I got 2 Churchills left.
2 boxes left?
Well, 1.
I got a box for Christmas, and this is the first one that I smoked out of it.
And it was funny. I think
this is better than the Robusto, too.
Remember I told you that? I said it will switch over.
It's weird. Churchills are better than the Robusto in this blend.
Yeah. And Mark was asking me which one. I said, right now, the Churchill is smoking. I mean, the Robusto was right on it. The Churchill, I'm telling you, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And I hate Churchills as a size.
Me too.
That Churchills and Lonsdales, I struggle. I struggle with deeply. When trust me when I tell you.
But this is the Churchill that I don't hesitate to talk about. I love it.
You know what's funny about what's going on? Get back to what was talking about, 2010 Avo. There's a cigar that you never know it's an Avo.
Yeah, I agree.
How about that first maybe inch into that?
Yep.
That's my favorite part of the cigar. I'm telling you, that thing is just like, wow. I don't put it the Oasis, but I can understand it. It hasn't. Do you think it's changed that much at all? You smoked them more than I have, Will.
I don't think they've changed that much.
Me either. I mean, you know more about it. I smoked them when they first came in. Then I revisited when you told me what it was all about. I said, wow. And the 07, and then what I'll do, I'll just for the 07s, I thought they were okay. They're still smoking decent. Well, I'll send some down with the.
Is that the one that says Compañero on it?
Yeah.
No.
That's
Unbanned.
Unbanned it.
Okay.
Totally unbanned it. Yep.
All right.
But
Well, that's it for Stogies.
That's it. Me
Will?
too.
I got a few more. I'll try to go through some of these quicker.
All right. I gotta make a pit stop again. Hold on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm going to start off with the Renato Grand Empire Reserve Toro, and made by Renato Cigars. Antonio Lamb is the guy behind the company, who we're going to have on the show very soon. He came out with the Grand Empire Reserve. It's a Nicaraguan Puro line. He came out with it last year in a box press Robusto.
Yeah.
He's extended it to have a box press Toro and a rounded Corona Gorda and a Petite Lancero. I sent up the Petite Lanceros. We're going to smoke it when Antonio's on the show.
Okay.
I love this line of cigars. I love what Antonio has done. He's taken what he's doing. This is his second blend. It's his second line, but it's what he's taken to another level, I think, here. This is a great Nicaraguan Puro. It's got coffee, pepper, herbs, floral, but it's smooth, I thought. And I really enjoyed it. If you like good qualities in a Nicaraguan Puro, this is a box-worthy cigar in my book. I had it at the show, and originally I thought the Robusto was better, but Antonio sent me a few Toros, and it was really, I think the Toro's coming into its own right now, and this is a cigar to check out. Now, that Petite Lancero is a very limited cigar. He's only doing 250 boxes. That's something special, and I want to smoke that. I want to make sure we smoke that all together. So Paul's in possession of those right now.
So you know what's funny, and whatever happens, whatever region it comes from, the primings make all the difference in the world. It truly does. It really does. I can't wait to try that. With your assessment on that, Coop, I'm really, really anxious to try that.
No, I appreciate it. And then, there's a lot of guys who I've talked to about Renato. Antonio's he's a guy who really, he's another guy. You send him a question, he'll get right back to you. He's engaging. He's a young kid out of New Jersey. And he's doing things the right way. He's not rushing things. He's been very slow and methodical building this company.
Very good. And I'll tell you, like I finally right now I'm doing the Intemperance. There's another Crow Magnum. I've been waiting and waiting. I'm going to tell you, this is as the acronym ROT right off the truck. I'm telling you something. Here's another company that's really on top of it.
What are you smoking now?
The Intemperance.
The BA or the EC?
BA.
Okay, that's the Araparaca.
Yep. You can tell the difference. It's a good smoke. It really is.
I agree.
It really, truly is. Everything. That's what I'm saying. When people, you can tell people who take time in blending the cigars, and what Jose was saying, it truly is. So.
Yeah.
Well, you got anything more left on your list, man?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Why don't we do that, and then we're going to table the segment to the next episode because this one ran really long.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so blame me.
No, you know what?
No, blame all of us, not you.
We skipped a week, so we had lots to talk about this segment.
Yeah. I smoked the Tatuaje Albion 13 FF.
Okay.
So that's the one you guys smoked a few weeks ago that I didn't have. I found it at Draper's, so I managed to smoke it down there. I have not smoked the Reserva yet, which is so. What folks who aren't familiar with the FF, this is the Ecuadorian Habano, which has been used on the previous Albions. Pete did a 6 7/8 by 52 Perfecto, and then he did about 7,500 cigars, and then decided he was going to change it to a broadleaf for the full production run.
Right.
This was the best of the Albions,
isn't it?
This one, the 11 we talked about. The 11 was very inconsistent with me. The 12 was better. This one, I just loved it. Cocoa, earth, pepper. I didn't think it was overly complex, but I thought it was the most full-flavored, full-bodied. I just really, and the burn and the construction were excellent. Where the 11, I had a lot of issues with that.
Yeah.
I think that was the.
Wait, are these going on closeout tomorrow too?
Yes, sure.
Box split in my book with this one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
What else? Well.
All right, so I smoked the Casa Fernandez Miami Reserva Maduro in the Corona Extra.
People have said a lot of good things about Casa Fernandez.
Yeah.
You know, some of the Corojo stuff they've done in the past has been hit or miss with me. I've said many times when it comes to working with San Andreas, Mexican rapper, Paul Palmer knows what he's doing, and his team knows what he's doing to work with that rapper. They've done a lot of the Illusione stuff. They're doing some of the Ezra Zions, Maduro now. This is the best. This is a home run cigar. I absolutely loved it. Sweet chocolate, pepper, earth. It's got a little bit of leather. Great construction. In my opinion, this wowed me. This is a good year for Maduros. You know, we've talked about the aging room Maduro. We've talked about the Latelier Maduro. This one's right up there with those. Box worthy in my book.
Nice. Well, you mentioned Antonio Lamb from Leonardo Cigars earlier.
Yes.
He is coming on the show next week.
Yeah.
We'll be smoking the Grand Empire Reserve. Thank you for providing those to the show.
The Petit Lancero I mentioned. So that's the 250 box limited one.
Yeah.
Which I think is the best size.
And that's the one we're smoking next week.
Yep.
While he comes on the show. So we got all our ducks in a row for next week. So make sure you tune in. It's going to be a fantastic interview and a fantastic show.
Yep.
We don't have a contest for this week, but I want to thank everyone for participating in our previous contests, and we will continue to do those. We just don't have a contest for this particular week.
Why? Let's make one up right now. I'll do any. No, I think
if you make one up now, my only request is that you be responsible for shipping the cigars to the people.
I'll do that.
You can use our USPS account for that.
No. I'll take all. I'll tell you what. It's been such. I got a positive vibe. I just feel that great.
All right. So let's start with, what would you like to give away?
I'll tell you what. I'll throw in Juan Lopez Petit Coronas.
Okay.
I'll throw in
Give me some of those Roma Crafts, dude.
And the Roma Craft. I'll do the Roma Craft. What else can we throw in?
Well, if you do one of each of those and a Juan Lopez, that's a 4-pack. That's awesome.
That's a 5. Okay. I'll do I kill the name.
Aquitaine, the Cro-Magnon, and the
Cro-Magnon and the Temperance, and I'll throw the Juan Lopez Petit Corona. We'll come up with what can we come up with right now? Let's do it real quick. And I'll take full responsibility of everything. How's that?
All right.
What can we come up with?
Coop knows what.
I knew you guys were going to put this one on me.
Yeah.
Come up with something related to the Jose Blanco.
Yeah, you're reading my mind. Jose, exactly. Okay. Let's make it simple. We can't say where he's going to go because we don't know. How about
what year he started at La Aurora? Or what year he started doing cigars at La Aurora? He said that in the episode.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
He did.
There we go.
What year did Jose Blanco start in the cigar portion of La Aurora?
And he mentioned it.
He did. He said it in the interview.
He said in the interview, I'll take full responsibility for everything. How's
All right.
that?
Email your answers to what year did Jose Blanco start doing cigars for La Aurora? Not cigarettes or liquor or whatever else he was doing there.
Right.
He mentioned all that. What year did he start cigars, Jose Blanco, for La Aurora? Email that to the show at StoGeeks.com. We'll pick a random listener, and Stogie Santa will send you an epic 4-pack. What are you saying? What are you saying?
We'll do the Cro-Magnon line, right?
Okay.
We'll do the Intemperance. We'll do the Aquitaine, right? And I'll throw in the Petite.
All in the knuckle dragger size.
And a knuckle dragger size, and I'll throw in a Cuban Petite Juan Lopez. How's that?
Awesome.
Sounds good.
The epic Stogie Santa prize pack. What year did Jose Blanco start doing cigars for La Aurora? Email the show at StoGeeks.com. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Make sure you join the CRA, my friends.
Yes.
And please visit our two sponsors. Please do that.
Please visit our sponsors.
Yes. And we missed our two segments we're going to do, huh?
Yep.
So we're going to skip our segments this week.
I guess so. It's been so long.
Let me try this again. Remind everyone to visit
Thank
our
you.
sponsors, Ocean
And we'll
State
let Coop finish his
Cigars.
stogies next week.
Ocean State
Yeah.
Cigars.
And stay online, please.
Havana
Coop.
Cigar
not going.
Club. Did you finish all your stogies, Will?
No, we got 2 more, but we'll do them. We'll do them. We'll hold them
All
for
right,
next
we'll-
week.
we'll
because
pull 'em.
one of them's a special cigar.
All right, we'll tag them for next week.
Yeah.
And we'll
Yeah,
have a segment
have to
for you
listen
next week.
to
We
Coop.
went overtime this week because we were just
Way
so excited.
overtime.
We were just so
Way.
excited.
Yeah, right.
Special thanks to Jose Blanco. Thanks everyone for listening to
That's
the Stogie
right.
Geek Show. And we'll see everyone on the next episode where we will have Antonio Lamb from Leonardo Cigars, and we're smoking the Leonardo Grand Empire Reserve. Cheers, everyone. We'll see you all next week. And make an old
This
fashioned.
is what happens when
They're
we
good.
skip an episode.
Well, you got me.
Is around you, we are parts of, and all we want seems to block out what we need. Never enough to satisfy.